there's always a couple of players that break out. A couple of players that kind of catch your eye. You say, oh, who's that guy? I didn't hear about him before the season started. These are guys that you've probably heard of for the most part. Maybe they played a minor role this past season. But who are some individuals that we think are going to break out this coming season in a national way? I got a couple of them from you here. Really, we're going all over the country here. We're going all over these Power 5 conferences. Let's start with Clemson wide receiver Adam Randall. Dude is built like DK Metcalf. And DK Metcalf is probably like the most hyperbolic example we could use for him, but he's still 6'2", 225. Y'all, 225 at that height, being a receiver, you don't typically get that. Couple that with the fact that dude is real deal fast. If you have a big body and you've got that big frame, it's like, oh, he's a jump ball guy. Cool, use him in the red zone. He's been clocked at 4.4. And I think in this new offense for Garrett Riley, he is going to thrive. Garrett Riley is going to scheme guys open, but even more so, Adam Randall has the ability to really just leave guys in the dust when that safety bites on the run game. I think it's important to mention, you saw him a little bit last year, but he had a knee injury in the spring. Like, he was not full go. He was not the Adam Randall we're going to get this coming season in Clemson, South Carolina last season. So expect him to break out in a very big way. Expect him to complement Antonio Williams, the slot receiver there, in a very big way. Promise you, Cade Klubnik will have no issues throwing that dude the rock. Korey Foreman is an edge defender at USC. He's 6'4". I mean, 235 is what he's listed as the roster. He looks bigger than that to me. He was the #1 player in the industry coming out of high school in the 2021 cycle out of Corona, California. And he's been one of those guys that you've seen him pop at times. You've seen him make some timely plays here or there. But I think he's set for a breakout season because the edge defender position, so much of your success is predicated on what else you have around you on the defensive line. And I think Anthony Lucas is going to help him a lot. I think having Bear Alexander in the middle there is going to help a lot because that's just going to command more attention and be able to free him up a little bit more and be isolated on the edge there and just kind of work the pass rush a little bit more seamlessly. They said he's had a good fall camp. They said he's been more locked in from a schematic standpoint. I really like where Korey Foreman stands going into this year. I expect him to pop in a big way with the way they've retooled that defensive line and got him some more help. So Korey Foreman, without a doubt, a name to know. I think he makes good on all of his billing as a recruit in 2023. Colston Loveland is a tight end from Michigan. He is 6'5", 240 pounds. Dude can run. He is a matchup nightmare. We saw him in person at the Ohio State-Michigan game, and the expectation around Michigan this coming season is really for J.J. McCarthy to take that next step. And everyone likes to say, J.J.'s got to be better. He's got to push the ball downfield. And I think all that's like true for Michigan to win a national title. I'm not saying that's incorrect, but I think it's incomplete because if you expect your quarterback to do more, well, who's he throwing to? He's got to throw the rock to somebody, and you have to have other weapons around him do more as well. So Colston Loveland, I think, will be a big part of Michigan's success in the pass game this coming season. He's only a sophomore. I don't know how you match up with him because he's not, I mean, you hear 6'5", 240, you're like, oh, wow, that's a big body. Yeah, but he can really move. Like if you want to put him with a linebacker, you're getting burned 11 times out of 10. There's not a lot of linebackers that can run with Colston Loveland, and there's not many that he can't separate from within that position group. So it's going to ask a lot of defenses. Expect him to have a big impact this coming year. He stepped up at the end of last year when they had some injuries in that tight end room. I think he's going to make a lot of noise this coming season. I really do. Now, Billy Bowman is a safety from Oklahoma. He was all Big 12 honorable mention last year, and I keep saying this. Like, I think he is set for an all Big 12 season at the very least from a first team standpoint. I think he's going to be a name that you know nationally. Super rangy, great instincts. Had, I think, 3 interceptions last year, 60-plus tackles, not afraid to mix it up. He was dinged up at times, but, dude is just a football player. And football players make plays. And that's what Billy Bowman is. I mean, they're going to ask a lot more of him, I think, in this defense from a leadership standpoint, which he already is a leader for them. As the defense sort of settles around him, I think you're going to see him flourish. Because last year there were so many missed assignments and guys not getting lined up right. And I don't know if Billy Bowman was necessarily a guy that you were looking at and blaming for that. But I think when you look at what they will be defensively, it's going to be much more settled. Everybody has a better idea for the scheme. You upgraded personnel in that front seven. Billy Bowman's going to get a chance to just go play ball. And I'm excited to watch that. I think he's going to be a first-team All-Big 12 guy. I 1,000,000% do. Justice Haynes is a true freshman running back from Alabama. And, well, he's not from Alabama. He's actually from the state of Georgia. And he ended up going to Alabama, which shocked a lot of people. He wasn't the Bulldog. He had 3 touchdowns in the A-Day for them, which is the spring game in Alabama. He was the number 2 running back in the 2023 cycle, according to the industry rankings for us here at On3. He's going to be a part of the rotation as a true freshman, which is saying something. Anytime you get on the field as a true freshman at a place like Alabama, you can play some ball now. And I mentioned the touchdowns he had in the A-Day, and that was impressive. Like, to touch the paint as a true freshman in a spring game when you've been on campus for 15 practices, that means something. I was honestly more impressed by the way that he ran the football and the patience that he showed. Because when you're a young running back and you're coming from the high school level and you have a high billing as a recruit, typically a lot of those guys have gotten by on just ability. Like, to be real, you're probably one of the most talented, one of the most athletic, fastest guys on the field. So that means if I get around the corner, if I bounce it, nobody's touching me. I'm scoring. And Justice Haynes, I didn't see that habit from him in the A-Day. I saw him take the snap, or take the handoff rather at the snap, read the keys, read his offensive line, and make a definitive decision, get north and south, but he didn't look out of control. So once the game slows down a little bit more for him as he gets more reps, I think he's going to be a guy that contributes in a very big way for Alabama this coming season. Believe you me. So love his patience as he progresses, Alabama progresses. I think he's going to be a guy that you see take on progressively more of that workload potentially. Expect a healthy dose of Justice Haynes, especially when we get to like November kind of territory. Dude runs the football like a grown man. One more for you. DONTE THORNTON, wide receiver from Tennessee. Y'all that have watched this show for any length of time, you know I love me some DONTE THORNTON, man. Transfer receiver from Oregon. He's 6'5", 214 pounds. On a previous video, I think I shortchanged his height as 6'3". To be 6'5", and then to be able to run, he was also clocked at a 4.4, similar to Adam Randall. Like, that is just such a mismatch for any defensive back. You don't typically get that blend of size and speed, and that is exactly what Tennessee is built on offensively, to create matchups, put your DB on an island versus our wide receiver. Good luck. Happy Hunger Games, and that's what it's going to be for DONTE THORNTON this year. There's a lot of production on the table for him as well, with Jalen Hyatt gone, Cedric Tillman. I know he was dinged up last year, but he's also no longer there. Expect DONTE THORNTON to eat and eat greedy in Knoxville this coming season. So a lot of breakout players. This is not an exhaustive list. Could have also put Jordan Botelho on this list. You know, I've talked about him a lot on this show. Adam Randall from Clemson, Korey Foreman from USC, Colston Loveland, tight end from Michigan, Billy Bowman, the safety at Oklahoma, all Big 12 first team incoming. Justice Haynes, the running back from Alabama, true freshman. Expect him to really build as the season goes on. And then DONTE THORNTON, the wide receiver from Tennessee, we just talked about. Big play waiting to happen for them this coming season. Hey y'all, thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel here to make sure you don't miss an episode of The Hard Count. Also be sure to check out other videos on the On3 YouTube channel.